So what I wanted to discuss today was about a quote by David Bohm. And this quote, it has some profound meaning and some profound, once I read it to you start to go, well, okay, how am I considering the things that come into my life? How am I relating to them? How am I understanding them? And I'm going to read the quote first, then we're going to deconstruct this, because I think it's important that we see what our first gut reaction is to it. And mine was like, whoa, this is somewhat of a wake-up call. And I posted it in a couple of groups where we're trying to create change in the world and so forth. And then, see people's opinions of this. But here's the quote. David Bohm was a physicist, American physicist, and you can read all about him, but this is the quote he made. Reality is what we take to be true. What we take to be true is what we believe. What we believe is based upon our perceptions. What we perceive depends upon what we look for. What we look for depends on what we think. What we think depends on what we perceive. What we perceive determines what we believe. What we believe determines what we take to be true. What we take to be true is our reality. And you can see this kind of circle that comes back to reality. So reality is what we take to be true, and what we take to be true is our reality. Let's go back and forth between these. What we take to be true is what we believe. What we believe determines what we take to be true. What we believe is based upon our perceptions. What we perceive determines what we believe. What we perceive depends upon what we look for. What we think depends on what we perceive. What we look for depends on what we think. So you can see this interplay between the different elements of things that are going on in our mind. And I looked up, what does perceive actually mean? So perceive is to become aware or conscious of, come to realize and understand. And believe is accept that something is true, especially without proof. Now, the underlying message for myself with this was that, we may come into contact with an offer, or we may come into contact with some kind of knowledge, or someone tells us something is the way it is. However, then we put it through our lens of ourselves and go, no, that's wrong, or I don't believe that, or whatever. We don't accept it into our reality, or we do accept it into our reality. Now, the question I will say here, I will put forward to you is, what you believe ends up becoming your reality. And there's this whole interplay of what you think to be true, or what you see is what you think to be true. And it's important to realize that if let's say you're creating a business, let's say you're creating an entity of some sort, if you are not able to see it, if you're not able to visualize it or envision what it's going to be, it will never become that. If in a relationship, if you're not able to envisage how big it, or how great or how strong that could be, how could it ever come to that stage without you believing in it? If you're trying to make something happen, maybe you want to be an athlete, if you don't believe it with all your heart, how are you going to attract that to you? How are you going to realize that? How are you going to see it in your reality? You won't, because you don't believe. So there's an importance here of, first, I think, starting from within to be on the outside, in the physical world, in the outside world. So take from it what you will, and remember to give yourself permission to succeed.